Hello, and thank you for joining the Center for Career Development today under Morgan's Career Pathways Initiative. I am Ms. Amban Anjay, and today we'll be talking about how to market the best you on social media. Do it for the gram. So, from this presentation, you will learn how social media can help you channel your goal as you choose your niche. You drive engagement and grow your brand's audience as you educate people and become an expert in your field. Today we have three panelists, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Jabari Thompson, who is a sophomore in the Strategic Communication Program here at Morgan. We have Mr. Walter Kennedy, who is the Peer Bears Coordinator, and we have Kenesia Grant, who is the Administrative Assistant for the Center for Career Development. They are all very resourceful when it comes to career development as a whole. So we are going to have them introduce themselves individually, and we'll start talking. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the question and answer box below. I'm going to send this again in the chat box. So please feel free to send your questions. And at the end, when it's time for the questions and answers, you're going to keep the floor open for that. And thank you once more for joining us. I hope you learned so much today. Go ahead, Mr. Walter.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Ramba, for coming in. My name is Walter Kennedy again. I am the Peer Bear Coordinator at Morgan State University. And I'm excited to, be here with you guys. I graduated from Morgan State University in 2015 with a Bachelor of Arts in Music. And since then, I have been in retail management after college. So with Target, Dollar Tree, and Macy's, and I've been, climbing up the ladder in retail and learning all I can in retail management and inventing. And with those jobs, I have put myself on a pedestal to greatness through social media. Putting my events on social media to get the community to come out. And, the CEOs of every company that I've been a part of have seen the things that I put on social media to bring sales to those companies, those larger companies. And then now I've started my own company called Social Aspect Marketing and Media. I started that right here in my bedroom, very young company that does logos, flyers, video ads, different things, just to help me channel what my purpose was in life. And so that's a little extra on the side for me to do, but it also helps me within my current position as the Peer Bear Coordinator to help them brand who they are to get them out to the masses of Morgan State University.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Over to you, Jabari.
Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Jabari Thompson. I'm a sophomore here at Morgan State University, majoring in strategic communications. I think the reason I was brought on this panel was because I have a passion for social media and advertising, and it, ties in with my major. Also, I'm a Instagram influencer with about 40,000 followers. So it is my passion and kind of my job. It turned into a job this summer with working with brands like Fashion Nova and M&ML in California and different brands to help curate content with Instagram videos and just it's a moving job. It's a moving career because Instagram and social media stretches out to a lot of different things with Reels and TikToks, and it's just many ways of advertisement. So just kind of following along with whatever brands are asking me to do and just thinking of creative ways to bring awareness to different topics such as voting, fashion, different fashion trends, different modeling trends. I've been modeling for 3 years. I'm also a part of Morgan Mile AAF, the American Advertising Association, and a part of Fashion at Morgan. So yeah, that's my little introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And over to you, Kenny's here. Can you hear me? Great.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, my name is Kenesia Grant. A lot of people call me Kenny. I'm originally from New York, and I specialize in a lot of things. But today, the skill that I'm going to focus on is my specialty in brand management, marketing, and search engine optimization. So I'm excited to be here and to see what we have to offer to the listeners and to each other. And thank you, Anban, for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So I'll just dive right in. I know the major question is based on the topic we have, how can you best market yourself on social media? You three did mention employers, how you use social media to best market yourself. You talked about your company and how the different organizations you're a part of. So students are here to listen today. What's the best way to market yourself? How can we make best use of social media?
So I can start from a business perspective. Um, there, it, Social media is changing in a way where you not only can have a personal page now, but you can also have a business page. And it gives you a lot of different opportunities to do different things, such as promoting different posts that you have on social media. So you don't have to continue to post every day. It'll post for you. It'll give you the different stats of like who is looking at the post, who from what state, if California, Florida, if it's men, if it's women, the age range of who is looking at certain things. So I think that's the neat thing about making your social media page or Instagram actual business page, because you get to look at the different stats. With me being, in business and retail management, I always look at the stats and the numbers to see where I can improve and do better. So that's one of the things that I hone into on social media to get my followers or get the people that I want to follow me. The other thing is you have to, when posting, you have to create or have to keep in mind that you only have like 5 to 8 seconds to really show the person that's looking at your post and your content, like, hey, like, this is me, this is what I'm presenting, like, and I need your like on social media. If it's going to be dry, if it's going to be blurry or whatever, then they're gonna scroll past that. They're not going to like what you want them to like on social media. So it's a waste of your time posting it if you're not going to capture them within that 5 to 8 seconds.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Did you want to add anything to that, Kenny's here and Jabari?
Yeah, most definitely. I really want to, I guess, connect and press upon your analytics, because from a social media influencer standpoint, you don't want to just post anything, and your numbers matter and your views matter, and different things like that, like profile clicks and website clicks and emails and things like that. So I've learned through the past couple of years. I started social media influencing in high school, and it's really grown since then, just my education and my following, as in just knowing what content your followers want to see. So analytics really help with that, and monitoring them really helps as well, because like he said, you can see where your followers are from and what content they like. Like, I posted a video of me, it was a branded post for Byte, this company that does aligners. So I posted their content and it got 20,000 likes and all these views. And I'm like, okay, so people want me to like do, more lifestyle stuff, because I post fashion content and they'll get like 5,000 or different things like that. So you kind of recognize how things go viral and what content, pops off, and what content catches your audience's attention. And then I guess we'll get into that a little bit later, but just finding your niches and just like You should just be able to be like, I'm a lifestyle and fashion influencer, and just communicating that clearly, one, and then two, having followers that know what they're coming to your page for. Because like he said, your followers have 5 to 8 seconds, not even that. My generation, we are scrolling so fast, so it's like you really have to be an image where like, okay, I like this outfit, or okay, I like this. So it has to, it doesn't have to be the loudest image, but just something to catch someone's attention. And then it just plays into like how your page looks, and just having like a certain feed, and just a lot of different aspects with advertisement. Because the one other thing I wanted to touch on was a business account, like having a business Instagram with my personal social media. It's kind of turned into a business with having a business email and things like that. So yeah, that's just it's just a lot of different things that play into advertising on social media, because you are a business, or a lot of different people that are working on social media are trying to get you to buy something, click something, like something for their gain and your gain. So yeah.
Thank you, Jabari. And I know Kenisia would definitely have something to add about this.
Yeah, so one of the great benefits of using social media is that it's almost like a cheap marketing tool compared to the other forms of marketing, compared to buying a billboard and changing it often, or, even buying a web page sometimes, because you'll have to pay for the domain and stuff like that. Even if it's a free web page, nowadays, you can tell the difference between a cheap web page and one that somebody actually put some time and effort into and put money into. But using social media, or using the different, various platforms allows us, especially if we're thinking from a business or professional standpoint, to like put our best foot forward. So it is an important tool that I believe that everyone should be using, whether or not you're posting every day or posting your best like picks like once or twice a month. It's something that you should have, because it connects you to your audience.
Yes.
And that's where all the analytics and statistics come in, because after you find out what your audience is about, and who you're trying to send a message to, then you're able to market to them and receive more hits. You are able to widen your network, because it makes it easier for you to now to connect to people who are like them, or like minded in that aspect. So using social media, whether it's for professional use, whether it's for personal use or business use, is a great tool to put your foot forward. As Walter was saying, you don't necessarily want to put something that's blurry out there, because that's not your best foot forward, compared to all the thousands of other people that are using the same platform. Who's going to stop for that? And the same thing applies to the way you dress, the way your resume looks, the way you even cut your hair. If it's messy, then if that shape up or that lineup is a little bit crooked, like nobody's really they'll
Absolutely.
notice it, but it won't be in a good way. So that, I think that's the major benefit of having even if it's one profile, even if you decide to stick to Instagram, or if you decide to stick to Facebook, find out what suits you and then go for it. If your audience is predominantly Facebook users, or are predominantly Facebook users, then go hard on Facebook, because if you're going hard on Facebook, and they see that you have Instagram information now, they're going to go to the Instagram. Now, I know some people who are like, oh, I want all the platforms to look legit, but you have to start from somewhere, and then you start building from there. But it allows everyone to put their best foot forward.
Yes. Thank you all for that. We talked about the niche part, the engagement. So I know you've touched a little bit about this, but I would like to stress, like you also stress more about these your brand audience. Can we talk a little bit about the brand audience? Because sometimes I know you talked about just putting anything out there that could be messy, but that could speak a lot, especially with the fact that everybody's on social media now. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Go ahead, Jabari.
Okay, so I would just want to like say something about it's good to be versatile in what you post, yet because versatility is like, you know, if you're a business, you're reaching out to a multitude of customers, or if you're an influencer, you're reaching out to a multitude of different type of people. You don't necessarily have to be someone who's obsessed with fashion, but just likes the way I take my pictures, or just different things like somewhat like a photographer with just like how I take my pictures, even though they're necessarily not into fashion or lifestyle things. So it's more so about kind of keeping a cohesive brand. Like I know like before I wanted to do so much with like YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and everything like that. And like, okay, so my Twitter will just be funny stuff and my YouTube will be this, but having cohesive brand, like knowing my Instagram name is Jabari 2.0. So that's kind of like my brand. And 2.0 means being a better version of yourself every day. So not always worrying about someone else or trying to be better than anybody else, just bettering yourself. So I take that with everything. So just trying to keep the 2.0 kind of like mantra and just keeping positive energy through everything that you do. And you can express your emotions and different things like that. But I always think, and my friend, who's another influencer, always tells me like, you have to post what you want, but you have to imagine like, what if Oprah is seeing this, or what if whoever is seeing this? And that's what I think about a lot with my branded content and with my personal content, with just modeling and my lifestyle, you know, just different things that I post, because it's not like you're just a robot, just okay. Like that's another thing I want to touch on. Just you don't want your whole page to just be or my page being an influencer, you don't want your whole page to just be use my promo code, click this link, use my promo code, because it seems like you're not a real person. So also being very in touch with your audience, like engaging is very important for engagement. So like going on live and asking questions on your story and all of that type of stuff. Even if you have 10 followers, if you're 10 people respond, that's, you know, perfect engagement. So it doesn't always take thousands of people to engage with their content, no matter what it is. And I forgot what else I was trying to talk about, but just having a cohesive page, keeping your brand just very kind of on brand, on theme. Like you just want to be very precise with what you post, because you want a certain type of audience, because once you get everybody, it's like I was like when I was younger, I just wanted followers in general. Just like I just want 1,000 followers. And those followers could all want different things from me. And then you're responsible for making a bunch of different content. So it's like you have to be so uh like tunnel vision with social media, because you want to have like I keep pressing upon I'm a fashion and lifestyle influencer. So you're going to see like outfits and skincare and different things like that. So that's the audience that I'm going for. So if you're coming for sports content and workout videos, you wouldn't get that from me. But you know, just keeping cohesive and very clear niche, and just a cohesiveness with your personal brand, with your business and things like that.
Thank you, Jabari.
Yeah, Jabari, I think Jabari hit on it very well. You got to know who your target audience is, but you also you're a person at the end of the day. You're a regular person. So one thing that I've learned about social media is sometimes you got to protect your space. Yes, you can have your business page or whatever you do as a social media influencer, but then you can have your personal page. And I had to learn this the hard way because I had a big following, and then I completely deleted all of my stuff because I just wasn't in a space where I needed to be at the time, and I just needed to shut down and just be me and God right then and there. But then I had to, you know, get back on social media and get who find out who my following was or who I want to attract to those things. So one quote that I live by is everybody can't handle the price of being associated with your purpose. You know, yes, you want to get as many people as possible to follow you and to like your stuff and to get whatever, you know, you're selling out there. But sometimes you have to protect your space. Everybody doesn't have your best interests at heart. So I've learned that. So I have my Instagram which is a business page that's totally open for anybody to follow me. Doesn't mean that I'm going to follow them back, because I don't want to see that stuff down my timeline, you know, negative stuff, but they're more than welcome to follow me to see what I have to sell. On Facebook, I have a business page, which anybody can follow or like the business page, but I also have my personal page, which I don't allow everybody to follow me on Facebook, because that's my personal life. You know, I post personal things on there. But one thing that I can say is sometimes, and I had to learn this the hard way too, sometimes you don't have to post every single thing that you're doing in life on Instagram or on Facebook. It doesn't, everything doesn't need to be on there. And I learned that from my mama. And she didn't even follow me on Instagram, and she was finding out things that I was posting on there. You know, sometimes you don't need to tell everybody, oh, I'm about to go on a trip on such and such date at such and such time, because there might be somebody out there that's following you that you don't know that is ready to break into your house or, you know, do something malicious. So you just have to be careful when you are a social media influencer to protect your space. But find your following at the same time. Find who, you know, you're trying to, you know, get to follow your product.
Thank you. Can you see it? Oh, go ahead, Jabari.
I was just saying, I completely agree with all of that, because my mom's sitting right here and she still presses upon like, okay, you still just got to be mindful of certain things. And then I learned it from just seeing other people. Like, lifestyle isn't your everyday, what I eat for breakfast, what I eat for like, and then just your safety and things like that. It just, social media plays into a lot of aspects of life. So it's like, since I turned my personal one into a business, I'm still very mindful of keeping like it just like, I don't just talk about how much I love Harry Potter and how much I like to just play video games and different things like that, because that's not my niche or that's not my thing. Of course, you know, you can share that and then other people can relate, but then people are like, when is the next time you're going to talk about this or that? So it's just making sure you still have that tunnel vision. And then I forgot what else I was about to say. I lost my train of thought, but just you know, switching it from the business to the personal is very important. And then having a personal page with you in your own space with the people that you know personally is really important, because when I had my personal page, I was following people like influencers who are always like perfect 24/7, whose hairlines are right and everything, who always have a haircut. So I, in middle school and high school, I'm like, okay, I need to be like top tier all this time, but it's like, that's not really realistic, because it's like, I always press upon that even on my business page. Like, I learned how to cut my hair because of like different things like that, like always being like on 10. You don't always have to be like that. So that's why and I was always trying to I mean, not always, but like in middle school and high school, just like learning myself and just figuring out what I wanted to look like and wanted to be like. It's just very important to have your own space, because you're going to be influenced by these quote unquote perfect people on social media. And then you're going to want to, you know, try and be like that all this time. So it's just like having your personal space protected is really, really important.
Thank you. One thing I notice a lot based on of what you two said. Oh, Kenny's here. Go ahead. But right before you go ahead, I'll like that you guys should start thinking about the smart part about your goal, because what I notice is a lot of your goals. You talked about having realistic goals. So while Kenny's here talks, and if she would like to talk about it a little bit, it's completely fine. But when I talk about having smart goals, meaning your goals should be for you to have realistic goals, attainable goals, a time-bound goal. So your goal should be specific. So Kenny's here. Can you please go ahead and pitch in?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I think the thing that a lot of people get lost in when it comes to social media is that social media gives them the opportunity to be seen, but then they forget that social media is actually just a platform for art from Instagram started off as a platform for people who had virtual art, who had art, who wanted to show off their talent. You know, during that time, it was Facebook that was popping, it was Twitter, you know, and so these different platforms actually started off as platforms for specific niches themselves, you know. And so a lot of people in a way get caught up because, you know, it's become, once it becomes famous, it turns into a different beast. And so they get caught up in being seen on that platform that sometimes they don't really filter out what needs to be, what pictures or what kind of posts need to be put on their profiles. And so viewers get lost in the mush, you know. You start seeing pages that just have a lot of memes but no faces, or you can't connect to them. And if that's not a meme page, how are you connecting with your audience, you know? And so you really have to narrow down, touching base on both topics that we were discussing, the last one and the one you just brought up, on what we really want out of the platform. So if that's the case, you have to have a plan, you have to have a goal, or it's just, again, a random personal page that you and your friends just look at. And if that's the case, then you're really not doing anything, you know. Unless you are your brand, you really need to have a specific blueprint to how you're going to go about this. Many places, or to start, is if you could Google what are the top brands or top profiles on Instagram per your niche, you know. And if it's fashion, look up the best fashion magazines and what their Instagrams or Facebooks or Twitters look like. And from there, you're just going to pick and choose from the different options that you have, and then develop a plan on your own, because one plan doesn't work for everyone. And so you really want to stick to what works for you. Again, start small and then learn your audience and then grow from there. When it comes to the things that you post, they have to be very cohesive, as Jabari was saying. Can't be all over the place. And, you know, when it comes to personal profiles, yes, I agree, you have your separate profile on, you know, on deck, but you really don't need a personal profile, you know? Not everyone needs I'm saying this because of what my belief on social media platforms, you know? If Facebook was created in order to keep people in college and high school, and well, it's turned into something else. It was initially for college students, but if it was made for that, utilize that, keep in touch there, you know. People, they use, what is that app? Oh, I can't remember it right now, but all of our parents use it basically, and all of the international, WhatsApp, is it WhatsApp? Yeah, you know, like every platform has a purpose. You don't need a personal profile on every platform, you know. Utilize the platform for its strengths. And then if you happen to, hey, I realize that a lot of my friends are on Instagram, then go ahead and make a personal Instagram profile. But honestly, you don't need a profile on every single platform that you have your business on, because many times you know, it's really great to stay mysterious, really great to stay anonymous sometimes, especially when you're building your brand. You don't want to give anybody any ammo or, you know, anything to say against what you're doing until, you know, you're like, you know what, I can let the secret out here. If Jabari actually does like Harry Potter, and, you know, like, but he hasn't let anyone know, you know, if everybody knows Jabari, by the time he drops that little gem or that little nugget, it's going to be like, oh, wow, he didn't realize he had like 50 Harry Potter fans now. You know what I'm trying to say? And so there's a time and a place for everything. When you're starting off, consistency is key. It's almost like working out your body. You have to stay with a specific schedule, keep on going until you get results. And then you can switch it up, you know, according to your liking.
Thank you. So I know I did mention earlier that thinking about having the SMART goal, that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and a timely goal. Did you want to say something about that to add to what Kenny said, Mr. Kennedy?
Sure. And I actually had a slide about goals, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Give me 1 second. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. So yeah, goal setting. So most people don't achieve their goals simply because they don't have a clear understanding of what they want to accomplish. So it doesn't get accomplished. So with me and my business, like I had to figure out like, okay, on social media, like what do I want my followers to know? What am I selling to my followers? Do I have a 5-year plan of where I want to go? Do I have a 1-year plan? And do I have that 90-day, like you said, obtainable, sorry, I got some notes down, measurable and obtainable goals that you want to set. So, these are my short-term goals. Like I wanted to do video ads, flyers, logos, and business cards, right? And I'm just making the graphics for them and sending them off. My long-term goals, though, are for my business cards. I actually want to print them out for my customers and actually, box them up and send it to them. So like I have short-term goals now. Yes, I'll just make the graphics for you, but in the long term, in order to make more money, like this is my long-term goal. This is where I want to be. One thing you also have to do, you have to be a student at all times. So you have to be willing to learn more things. So I'm taking different graphic design classes and Instagram classes and social media classes to find out more things that I don't know, because there's people that know more than I know, but I want to help out other people. So these are my goals. So, to make sales online. So my actions or action steps is to post frequently and to make all content that I have a call to action. So again, like we were saying, make sure that you have that. Jamari said less than 5 seconds for this generation. Make sure that you make sure that your content is good and that it's obtainable. Social media promotions, I talked about it earlier, like they have those, or you have influencers that you can reach out to say, hey, can you post my post on your page, because I see that you have more followers than me, which will get you those more followers for yourself or your business or whatever you have on social media. Connect with influencers to help you promote your product. And then the third one was, with every client, get a testimonial to help you with your social media proof. So I have clients that do videos for me, literally. That when I do business for them, I asked them to send me a video just to say how professional I was and what a good job I did, the customer service through it. So you do, goals are very important to see where you want to get in life. And then like one of my five-year long-term goals is, I've been a part of the church all my life. So I want to help out the church. I don't want to do anything that that the next person is doing. I have to really find out, again, what my niche is. So I was born in the church. That's what I want to do. So now I want to create something for pastors and for different people that are using social media to push out their church. I want to create a workshop or, create a package for them to say, hey, this is how you get your church out there. This is how you get more members. This is how but that's something that I love. That's my passion. That's my goal. I'm not going out there chasing the next person to see, hey, Jabbar's doing fashion, so maybe I should put on a suit and do some fashion. That might not work for me. That works, but it's not going to work for me. So you got to find your own passion. You can't chase after the next person. Sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm my soapbox, and I'm going to stop presenting my screen.
Yeah, I most definitely really touched on and agree with pretty much everything that you said about goal setting. So I'll kind of start with goal setting and then talk about what I can relate to. So like I was talking about before, in middle school, I went to a private middle school, so we had to wear uniforms every day. And me loving fashion and loving a bunch of different things like that, I was like, we had these things called free dress days, where on like a Friday, we would be able to dress down. So I would always come with my Jordans and my flannels and graphic t-shirts and things like that. So that was a day where I can express my fashion. So that's kind of when I realized like I really love fashion, because when I look like everybody else, I'm not as happy as I am with like um my like outfit that I love. So when I got to high school, I started taking pictures and doing fashion videos, and I started a YouTube channel on when my parents would give me new shoes and stuff. I would review the shoes, or I would review different stuff from like H&M hauls and sneaker hauls and different things like that. So um, then fast forward to my senior year, my junior and senior year, I started seeing a lot of people making money off Instagram, and seeing that online boutiques like Fashion Nova and a lot of other brands are moving towards social media, having influencers and having people wear their clothes. So I was like, I take pictures in clothes every day, so I can most definitely do this. And then I realized a lot of people were getting paid to do it. So I was like, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna become a YouTuber and an influencer and all this stuff. And here I am. But so kind of in my senior year of high school, going into college, I kind of set my goals subconsciously and writing them down, because my mother is a life coach, and she was like, okay, Jabari, if you want to do this, I love my parents. They're really supportive of what I do, and ask me what is something that I can do to help you get to where you want to go. So I appreciate and love my parents. But my mother's a life coach, so she has a planner, and I color code my planner, and I have a separate social media planner and a school planner and a journal, and just like brain dumping things so that you can see your week at a glance and your month at a glance and what's coming up and things like that. So writing down stuff is very important. But once I got to my senior year of high school into college, I really like made a promise of like, okay, so I'm not really going to count my followers as much. I'm just going to just continuously put out content. So I was still modeling at the time, just posting when I go to castings and when I go to my photo shoots, and posting in outfits and tagging the brands is really important so that you can potentially get attention. So one thing that I'll point out with everything was Fashion Nova. Fashion Nova is a men's and female online boutique, but it started off with women's clothes. So when they started with men's clothes, I was like one of the first people to follow them and be like, I can't wait to wear your clothes, everything. So that was probably in like senior year of high school. So I started wearing their clothes and things like that, but my content wasn't the best. So they weren't like looking to sponsor me, and I got a bunch of no's, and like I was reaching out to them through DM, not knowing I would want a business email to reach out to them professionally, and having a social media resume, like social media kits and things like that. So I would reach out to them multiple times, and I would get the we're not looking for influencers, or we're not looking for partnerships right now multiple times. And speaking of goals, I was just like, I'm not gonna stop just because I got that no in high school. And it takes time, because I always just press upon, I wanted to do this since middle school and high school, and I'm in my sophomore year of college, and I've just started doing a lot of my stuff consistently this summer. So always seeing that goal and always having it written down and continuously writing it down every month. I'm going to like, my goals now are like, I have partnerships with Fashion Nova, M&ML, different like pay promotions where I have to post every week for 4 weeks, or post on your story and post on your page. So having those are pretty much my goals, are like little assignments I have to do for Instagram. But back to like the Fashion Nova story, you just keep working towards your goal and keep posting fashion content. And then I posted a picture about like 2 months ago, really recent, and it was a paid promotion for one of my friends who had a t-shirt line. So she was selling t-shirts. I posted a picture of me in the t-shirt with Fashion Nova pants on. So I never stopped posting Fashion Nova stuff. So I posted a picture of Fashion Nova pants and I tagged them. And they liked and commented on my post. And I'm over here like, oh my gosh, you guys show my post love. So I DM'd them. I was like, hello, I would thank you so much for showing love to my post. I wanted to inquire about how I can be involved in a promotion or a collaboration. And then I finally got the yes of, hi, we would love to work with you. Email blase@fashionnova.com. And then they let me know what promotion opportunities they had. And now I'm a Fashion Nova partner, which is like a really big, accomplishment with like being an influencer. But that's just um, one of the many instances where I've kind of reached my goal in time, and how consistently I've been posting. Because before, had before this summer with everything kicking off with social media, I've always posted like, okay, I haven't posted in 2 weeks. That's really bad. So I have to post like one post every week. Now with all my branded content, with personal content, I'm posting every day or every other day, whether it's just on my story. You just have to be you always want to be in the forefront of things, and being in the forefront can be Instagram story, because that's the easiest thing, 5 to 10
Mhm.
seconds, and Instagram reels, and being really versatile with what you post on Instagram, just staying in front of Instagram, because people are posting every day in different time zones. So it's like one of my goals is to post every day. And then one kind of tip, I know we have some questions, but I guess we can get to them at the end. But one kind of tip I have for anybody wanting to build anything is consistency. Like he touched on, it's really important to just, like I said, be in the forefront of Instagram. Just posting every day is important. And having a social media calendar, like, okay, I'm gonna post fashion content today, and then I'm gonna do lifestyle stuff. And then another like tip I would have before I finish is um if you want to be, like, I know one person said they wanted to be a makeup artist, and marketing yourself. So me being an influencer, I reached out to photographers like, is anybody available on Saturday to do 5 or 6 different outfits? So I would link with a photographer, and then I would shoot all of my content on Saturday and Sunday. So during the week when I have class and when I have to do homework, I can just have those posts queued up already, so I don't have to consistently make content. So whenever I get a haircut, I'm just taking pictures until my haircut just looks busted. So just being really consistent with just being smart about it, because no one ever is just perfect 24/7. It's like I'm sitting here with my twist out and just like sitting on the bed, but I'm posting a picture of me with the haircut in a Fashion Nova outfit. So it's just like having a schedule is really important. And then just the illusion of I'm always on my stuff. I'm always working. I'm always in an outfit. I'm always going places. And it's like another little thing is like everyone's in quarantine. So why is everybody getting dressed up, and where is everybody going if everything is closed? It's like it's just the illusion of I'm dressed up and I'm going to this place and I'm going to that place. So it's just, if that's your niche, then yes, but just consistently always working towards your goal. And then like everyone touched on, having a very clear goal is really important, so that you can work towards those things. And then also, I don't want to talk too long, but also just um what I've done was look at other social media influencers that you kind of look up to, and then imitate their post, or like, okay, he posed like this when he had this outfit on, so I'm going to do the same thing, or something that mirrors that. So just little tips on just being very consistent with your goals and how to, obtain those goals.
Thank you, Jabari, for all those tips. He answered some of the questions that we did have in the question and answer box. One of the questions are yet to be answered, and we'll get there. But before we get there, I would like to pinpoint on the fact that it said consistency is very necessary, organization is very necessary, and you mustn't have, your goals mustn't be big for you to consider them goals. You can have small goals and big goals. You can have short-term goals and long-term goals. It's just about having goals so you can, but before you get there, you will need to find your niche, like the makeup artist. So one of the big questions that we do have in general, like when we talk about social media, I know this was touched a little bit at the beginning, but I would like us to stress upon this. We'll give ourselves just a few minutes to talk on this and open the floor to more questions and to answer some of the unanswered questions. The essence of having a clean social, when I say clean, I mean like your content on your social media, and the power of how it can influence your recruitment, like recruitment of you, recruitment by employers. We all know employers do look at social media now, and not just at LinkedIn. So can we talk a little bit about the power of that relation that we have between our social media and the probability of us losing an opportunity simply because we did not, because of our content?
That is very, very big. I'm glad you brought that up. Again, I worked in retail management for 6 years, and it's true. We do look at social media posts before you come into an interview. And we already have it in our mind. Okay, Walter, this is what's on Walter's page. Like, Walter is this type of person. So, as the manager coming into an interviewing Walter, like, I already know, like, Walter's a party person, maybe he might not get up for work in the morning or, come to work on time. Or Walter puts all his business out on social media about his job, of how stressful he is and stuff. So managers already have it in their mind, like, if they want you or not, even before you step into that interview. That's why the interview is very key also, of how you present yourself in the interview. And a lot of the times people can turn on for an interview and then be the worst employee ever. So again, that's one of the reasons why we do our research before someone comes into an interview. That's why it's very important to keep your page classy at all times, and be careful of what you post on social media. One thing that I do like about Instagram now, they have this thing called close friends. So a lot of the times, stuff that I don't want, since I work in the professional world, stuff that I don't want people to see me or as, because I am a faculty member, like, I post on my close friends for, my close friends. That's literally what it's for. And then everything else, other people can see. But again, everything doesn't need to go on social media. You can keep that in your pictures and your videos, whatever. But yeah, we as retail managers do look at social media before you come into the interview, and we already have it in our mind whether we want to hire you or not.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Kennedy.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
ahead, Jabari.
What was the topic again? Because I don't want to be too off topic.
We are talking about the power of how social media what you post on social media can influence you being recruited by a company that you really want to be
So yeah,
hired by.
so I want to touch on what I previously talked about with just one of my friends who's a photographer and editor in Philly. He was just like he always posts as if like Oprah or like a really big company like Ellen or like somebody is like looking at his page, and like, would Oprah want to sit down and talk with you after? It doesn't always have to be this, higher person or like such a professional person, but you still want to be mindful, especially as a young person. And then to not post all of your emotions and all of your frustrations and all the different stuff. It's like there's a way to kind of express those things. And especially like he said, with the close friends feature on your stories, you can talk to your quote unquote close friends, because you don't want anyone and everybody to know what you're going through and things like that. And then some people don't necessarily care or have the best interest for you. Like, I know me personally, I don't post about my emotions all the time because someone is like preying on your downfall. So they're like, oh, he's doing bad. Okay, bet he's gonna fall off or whatever. Or it'll just be somebody that's gonna play on that certain thing, where somebody, I could be posting about like, I don't like my haircut, and then you have a bunch of negative people like, oh well, your hairline is crooked, or this is messed up, or whatever. So it's like you don't want to make yourself too vulnerable with social media. I've learned that I didn't necessarily learn it the hard way, but just monitoring your post and not posting everything is just really important with the personal aspect, protecting your energy and your spirit, because social media can be a really positive place, but it can also be a very negative place, because there's a lot of people who just get on and then just have a hateful mindset and a hateful spirit of just, I'm gonna try to just get on people's nerves, and that may bring them joy, but it's like that's still just a really negative thing to do. And then just for personal side, and then for the business side, like we touched on, just being very professional at times. Like, you really don't want to just Like, that's why I don't ever put up like the middle finger and just don't ever like do all this different stuff with just like, you know, it's not just shutting off your personality because that's who I am just in general, but me being mindful of who I'm trying to look at, because I was reached out from my college professor, my SCOM teacher, and it's like your teachers will be looking at your social media because this is my job and I want it to be my career, and I'm in a class where we're looking at social media analytics and
And
different.
you have to remember the referral part as well, which is very essential. Sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Jabari.
Yeah.
Um, thank you for that. Kenisia, would you like to touch a little bit on that so we can answer the questions because we're almost running out of time?
Sure, no problem. How can students utilize social media in order to better their chances of recruitment and not allow them to basically become skipped over or denied just because of their social media? I believe, you know, you should have a plan. Start off with a plan because it's not just social media. It has to do with what comes up when your name is Googled, what, you know, when your name is searched in general, what you're associated with, the hashtags that you use, the hashtags that other people use when you're in their photos as well, because you could search, you know, who has tagged you in their photos as well. Look, develop a plan. When it comes to recruiting, the first platform you should be on is LinkedIn. Clean up your LinkedIn profile. Then create a professional, not necessarily a business profile, but a professional profile on Instagram and Facebook. Even if you already have a personal profile, create a professional one on those two platforms, especially. Twitter is also a good platform, but Twitter is going to take a lot more work because you're going to have to do a lot of writing, and developing followers on Twitter is a little bit more slower than on Instagram and Facebook. Well, Facebook is slow too, but Instagram is one of the fastest ways you can develop, you know, followers. And if you already have a personal profile and it doesn't have your first and last name in it, that's even better. Create a personal profile that has your first and last name. It could be Kinesia.Grant, and that is my handle on Instagram. So when people on LinkedIn, when I put, hey, my Instagram on LinkedIn is Kinesia.Grant, that's what they're going to put in on LinkedIn, I mean, in Instagram to find me. They don't necessarily know what my personal profile is, you know, because they've already searched and they saw, oh, this is her, Kinesia.Grant. And so let's look and see what she's about. Same thing for your Facebook, you know, don't try and put any nicknames or anything like that. And if your name is already taken, there are different ways to get around that, underscores, hashtags, whatever it is, that just make sure it looks professional. Get a headshot done. A headshot is a very important thing that you really need for your icon, especially your AVI, sorry. Make sure that it's very professional and it's on point, has a nice background, doesn't have any distractions. Nowadays, you can take your headshot at home. You just have to have a specific filter. When it comes to your social media, your professional one, always edit your pictures. You don't just take the picture and leave it there. You could do that for your personal page, but for your professional page, edit every single picture that you have. And if you want a color theme, stick to that colored theme and make it professional. Just keep it professional. As Jabari was saying, you want to keep your personal life out of it, but you do want to put one or two pictures in there that shows, hey, I actually do work well with others, you know? If you have any pictures from volunteering, it could even, you don't even have to be in it. It could be a picture of Target and, you know, your group of people are in the corner that you worked with and say, hey, worked at Target today, blah, blah, blah. But make sure that you are posting your experiences professionally, editing all your pictures, make sure your picture is clear, you're smiling, having the proper clothing, like colors on and everything. Like, it really takes planning in order for you to like succeed with this, because and the benefits of planning out everything is that once you are able to lay that foundation, it's so much easier from there. Unless you get a dray load of followers, you know, right after you know, succeeded, and then you're like, oh, I need to now step up my game even more. So consistency is key. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything that's professional, try and make it as consistent as possible. And yeah, you know,
Thank
there's
you.
a lot that goes into it, but down to, again, your Google search, there's a way to scrub it so that when they Google you on your name, they only find specific things. You really just have to clean up your social media when it comes to recruitment.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kenny's here. And we'll dive into some of the questions we have here. Some of them have been answered, but one of the questions I would like to ask, and anybody can answer, please let's keep it really snappy so we don't go so much over time. So one of the questions is to better market yourself on social media and you do not have much of a creative mind, what will be the best resource to use to market your services?
Just really quickly, like I said, when I was having trouble just thinking of how to advertise like different clothes and myself, you can just start to imitate other influencers. Like you can look up, like if you look up to somebody, or if you have something in common with someone, or even if you're like saying, I wish I looked like that, it's like you can. So it's just, just easily imitating somebody. Like if just for a short example, if I'm trying to do a streetwear post, I go to like hashtag streetwear and I see someone that's in a city with a building or whatever. So then I would just put my outfit on, go downtown, and then take pictures. So just imitating what you would want to what you would want to be or see, because
What
with
about
social
the
media.
platform? What about the platform? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah,
which would you best
like
recommend?
I would say Instagram is easiest to me. I know I have a Facebook, but it's more like professional. I don't really post on it. My mom tags me and everything. So if you look at my Facebook, it's just, what my mom posts. But I would say if you want to start out with something, I think Instagram is the easiest, and it's one of the fastest you can operate on because it has so many features with stories, reels, IGTV, and Instagram. So if you're like the makeup artist, you can, instead of just going all out on YouTube, you can just do 5 minute how to do your eyebrows. Because my sister does stuff like that, how to do your eyebrows, how to do a cut crease, just different things like that on a 5 minute IGTV video.
Somebody said Facebook is for old people. You
I
don't know
mean,
about that?
I I agree and I disagree. I just feel like it's like my generation, or just like Generation Z's, we know Instagram and Snapchat because that's what was trending when we were around. Even though
Mhm.
Facebook was, it was just a little bit like before then. So I don't really get on Facebook as often. I don't really know how to operate it with like your little boards and you comment and different things like that. So I know a little bit about Facebook, but I think Instagram would be a really good place to start.
Well, the truth is that before you really grow your brand on YouTube, most people will use Instagram for a start. So I agree with you on that. Another question we had was, what are some ways as a millennial to find a social and work balance when posting on social media? I see Mr. Walter wanted to answer that. Jabari will get to you shortly.
Say the question one more time for me.
So, what are some ways as a millennial to find a social and work balance when posting on social media?
So again, there's the analytics on social media that you can look at, that gives you times and days like that your followers are looking at your stuff. It gives you how many hours of screen time that you're looking at stuff. You want to really look at all of that stuff to just try to find a balance. You don't need to be on social media posting at 12 a.m. when your followers are that's not what the analytics say. Your followers are, looking at your stuff. You're not going to get that many likes. You're not going to get that many views because the analytics, it tells you, the report is there. You don't even have to do anything. It does it for you. It tells you when your followers are looking at your stuff. That's the time when you really need to be pushing out more of your content. When it tells you, hey, Wednesday, this is when my followers, or this is the most when your followers are, liking your stuff. Okay, on Wednesday, I'm going to post all my stuff at 12, between 12 and 5, because that's what it says, where my followers are interactive. So you really, I'm a report type of person. So you really have to look at the analytics in order to find that niche between work balance and the Instagram life or Facebook, whatever.
Thank you. So one of the other questions that were asked were, what apps do you recommend that post for you? Are there any apps? Is there anything like that?
I know there's an app called Plan that I use a lot. It's a way for you to kind of you just import pictures instead of doing your whole post, or you can connect your Instagram and you can set up a post in a time. It's an app called Plan. I think it's And then I think there's another app. I mean, there's a lot of different apps on the App Store where you can just say, just like posting for Instagram, or you can YouTube and Google different ones. But that's the one that I use to kind of put my page together, because since I'm doing lifestyle and fashion content, I don't want my page to necessarily just be a full body picture and then it's just a bunch of just full body pictures. So um, you can do a full body picture and then like from the waist up, and then you can do a selfie or a headshot and then keep switching it up like that. That's how I set up my Instagram.
Do you mind posting, writing the name of those apps you recommend in the chat box, so you can all view that in the chat box? Kenesia, did you want to add anything to any of our questions?
Um, I would say, going back to the work-life balance for millennials, I totally agree with Walter. Basically, continue looking at the analytics and the stats, see how your network engages with you. And another way also, again, just have a separate professional profile. You won't have to worry about what I can and can't post if you have a separate professional profile. Because once you go in that professional profile, you now have a goal in mind. You now have a directive. You're not just going to post any old thing on there. So that, to me, is the easiest way to have that happy medium. Just if you have a personal Instagram profile, well, set up a professional profile, take the best pictures from your old Instagram profile, edit them, and then move from there.
Okay, so I'm just going to post the recommended apps which Jabari just shared with
I
me.
apologize because I was
He
typing
sent it privately, so but it's okay.
all
I've
participants.
sent it to all panelists, so please you can look at that in your question in your chat box. I think that comes to the end of our questions. Well, we have one more. Okay, so it's just a thank you. One other question that did come and I answered it, but I didn't talk about it, was the question about us having another, will there be a part two? For now, we would look into that. That's going to be in the talks when we're looking at the future. So hopefully we would have a part two of this session. Thank you for that question, because they said they did enjoy the session. So thank you. We have a question, another question. Do you recommend to combine your page with your Mercy page if you are trying to work with other brands?
Say that again.
Do you recommend to combine your page with your Mercy page if you are trying to work with other brands? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's meant to be Mercy.
Dominic, you did write the question. Can you please be more explicit? I can give you a chance to talk very briefly. Okay,
Oh, okay.
your merch.
Yeah, I think you should do a separate merch page, because with the
Mhm.
link, like me personally, I was gonna start doing like a clothing line of merch, and I had a separate Instagram. So my regular Instagram is Jabari 2.0, and then my brand's name, just to have a whole separate entity of just that page. It's easier to operate, and then with your links, I have a link tree to all of my different platforms like YouTube, Twitter, different things like that. And then with my 2.0 official, like my clothing line page that I'll be starting next year or just in the future, um, a 2.0 official page would have just the website. So it's with Instagram, you really want to have everything really separate, because like I said, with the attention spans of us, it's like if you can't find it, you're gonna stop looking for it. So you really want to have everything very simple and spelled out. So personal page, business page for like your niche, and then a separate business page for whatever you would want to do.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have appreciation messages. Thank you for the presentation. And thank you for addressing the fact that employers look at social media when considering candidates for employment. Yes, they do. That is very essential. And thank you for listening to us. I hope you did enjoy this presentation. I would like to bring it to a close. If you have any questions, please feel free to send an email to me directly or to the Center for Career Development at careers@morgan.edu, and we'll be very or more than happy to answer your questions. I hope we learned a thing or two. This is going to be made available on our YouTube page as well, so please be on the lookout for it. Thank you. Walter, Jabari, and Kenisia, it was a pleasure having you on the platform. I hope you all enjoy your day and the rest of the month. Bye-bye.